Well, that's what happens when you do it live. How's it going, guys? I'm Chase Lee, and welcome to Real Reviews Live, where I'm going to review a movie live. And if you're watching this right now and you want to ask me questions about this movie, comment in the place where I'll my voice, and it will pop up right here on my screen, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. So I'm covering the Dallas International Film Festival, and yesterday at the time of this recording was my second day covering, and I did 4 films, and so this was the first one I saw, and I'm here to review Stations of the Cross. And I have to describe it to you guys because it's quite interesting. This film is in German. And it also says French and Latin. There was like 2 lines that were like uttered in that. It's mainly in German, but it's got English subtitles. I realize that most of the people that are watching this review right now are probably not from the U.S. and they're probably from Europe or Australia or wherever you guys hail from. So I'm going to do my best to pronounce these names. So if I butcher them, just know that I am from America, and it makes total sense. So here's Stations of the Cross. Devout teenager Maria and her family belong to an ultra-conservative Society of St. Paul. Her confirmation approaching, Maria is intent on walking a godly path, and yet she has questions. As the contradictions of devout faith and modern life multiply, Maria eschews the easy way out and chooses to follow the hardest road of all, that of the Savior, with all the pain and sacrifice that might entail. You're probably thinking to yourself, oh God, this isn't a religious movie. And I gotta let you guys know right off the bat, I am not a super religious person at all. Like I don't go to church. I don't do any of that. My beliefs are, well, this is gonna be controversial, but I don't think there's a higher being out there. I think there is other things out there, like alien races, maybe other humans on planets billions of miles away. But to me, religion it's a comfort. It gives people hope, which is a good thing, because listen, we're all afraid of death. I understand that. And so I think that it's there to kind of lift our spirits up so we're not as afraid of dying. I totally get that. And I don't mind what people believe in. I don't care what religion you are. Just don't try to rub it in my face and tell me I'm wrong, because when I get to the review of this movie, you'll see why religion can be poisonous sometimes. So, all right. So since I am from America, you're going to hear me butcher this, but I'm going to see if I can do it. It's directed by Dietrich Bruggemann. Bruggemann. It's either Bruggemann or Bruggemann. I don't know, but I totally probably just, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and set that down. So, it's directed by him. Is that guy's name? I'm just going to assume it's a guy's name. So, but it seems like the screenwriter is also, one of the screenwriters is also a woman, and him as well. So it's probably a husband and wife team. But this movie took me by storm, and not only because it was like a good movie, but it was also, I thought, a pretty great message on what extreme religious people can do to young minds that are learning in the church and stuff, and like brainwashing them to a point where it could turn out for the worst. And so, like I said, this movie focuses on a little girl. She's like 14 years old. And the movie starts out with her in a room with a bunch of other kids and a priest or whatever. And, he's describing like all the sins in life. Music is terrible. Scantily clad clothes are terrible. And he's really just describing like what you're not supposed to do and what you could just trying not to sin, basically. And I gotta let you guys know right off the bat, when the movie started, all it was just one shot, and there was a table, and the kids and the priest were around it, and the priest was forefront. It was on that shot for like 10 to 15 minutes. And so I was thinking to myself, oh no, is this movie going to be just like this? And it was. The movie was broken up into 14 chapters. And like I said, I'm not really super religious, but, all of them like had a title screen before the segment. It was like, Jesus meets his mom, Jesus falls a second time, Jesus falls a third time, Jesus is nailed to the cross, Jesus is buried. I think it's like scripture or something from the Bible. I'm not entirely sure. But that's what's great about this film, is you could take it either one or two ways, but I'll get that in just a second. But anyways, the movie starts out with that shot, and it stays on that shot. So I'm just thinking, so this is going to be the whole movie. It's just going to be each segment. It's going to stay on one shot, and by God, it was. Every single segment was just one shot, one static shot, except for the very end. There was a little bit of movement. I was like, hey, there's some movement. But it was one static shot, and it was just the actors portraying their characters in this story and this dialogue. And that's what's most impressive to me, is that this movie is directed and acted to like the highest caliber. And this is why I love foreign films. Like, you guys kick our movies' asses, bar none. Holy crap. Like I said, when you stay on one shot, I think the reason why the director wanted to do that route instead of, cut back and forth to multiple shots is he really wanted to let it sink into you. Like, really, like, when you sit and stare at something for so long, you kind of get a little disoriented, and it kind of just, like, it starts seeping into your skin. Like, it'll attach on you and start absorbing into you. And I think it was a really effective filming and acting method for this type of story and the message he was trying to get across. And so it's 14 different segments on the same shot, displaying that particular segment. And so Maria, she's 14 years old. She goes to church, and she's starting to realize that stuff is sinful. She can't really do anything. She loves God, obviously, and her mom is like a super religious nut. I'm talking about one of those people that, like, if she sees her daughter like going out past 9:01, like 9 o'clock, so she's like, oh, it's 9:01, you can't go out. Like, you're wearing clothes, you're wearing shorts that are like 15 inches long, you need to wear something longer. And she's like that type of person. And I hated her throughout the entire thing. The husband was like really quiet, and he was kind of, taking it, so to speak, from the wife. And, they have kids and whatnot, and they have a au pair, and she actually is kind of more laid back, but she's also religious, and she kind of understands that people make mistakes in life, and life isn't perfect and whatnot. So she's kind of the more reasonable one. And so Maria kind of goes through life, and like each segment, like something happens where, like, in the third segment, she talks to a boy in a library, and the boy asks her to go out and sing choir with her, like on Thursday or whatever. And so she's like, I can't do that. And like, then she tells her mom about it, and she lies and says the boy is a girl, and it's just a bunch of stuff like happens. Like, it's just little white lies. But yet Maria feels like she's just sinned. Like, she feels like her life is worthless. And I think here's my perspective on it, because this could go either way. When you have the 14 chapters on this, like, so-called, like, method or whatever of religion of, what Jesus went through and whatnot, you can look at it and go, oh, this is just interpretation of the Bible and stuff. I looked at it as an interpretation of, like, if you, like, pound your religious views into someone like that and you brainwash them, it can slowly kill them. And that's what I got out of this. I was like, this is not pro-religion. I think this is anti-religion. I think this is showcasing what could happen to a child if you start telling them that music with bass synth lines are sinful. Like, it's just stupid. I've always thought that was just dumb. I'm not a terrible person. I've made mistakes in my life. I'm not religious. I don't go to church or anything. I look at it as this: if you are a good person and you live your life to the fullest, because this is the life that you have on earth right now, then you're going to be doing just fine. Because in this movie, they talk about the afterlife and stuff. It's like, well, why don't you take care of your life that you got going on right now? Because that's what is going on right now. So, and then the underlying theme, or not theme, but the underlying plot in this movie is that Maria gets sick, and then she doesn't really want to get better, because she thinks that it's her time to go, and she refuses medicine, and that all has to do in part with what her mother thinks and stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, you could have saved your life. You could have saved your life if you would have just taken some medicine, if you would have ate something. But instead, you think that it's your time to go because you got sick once. Like, that's the... It just makes me so mad, because I'm not going to tell you what happens at the end, but I think you can probably tell what happens. But it's just, this is just a little girl who is going through her teenage years. Like, she's starting to feel for boys, and she's starting to kind of grow a little bit. She's going through puberty and stuff, and like, she's just kind of exploring life, and yet she's being bogged down by religious views because that's what's right. Everything else is wrong. I hate that about religious people. Do not sit there and tell me what's right and what's wrong. I will believe what's right and what's wrong. There's several things, like on the Ten Commandments, that I totally agree with. Thou shalt not murder. No, duh, Sherlock. I don't think anyone should murder anyone, because that's pretty freaking wrong for the human race. I mean, just freaking people like that, super religious. Why do you do that to people? Why do you strike them down and belittle them because it's not what you believe? Times are changing, okay? And this movie's set in modern time, so which makes it even worse because this family has such a mindset on like old school religious methods. Like, you know, they dress like nuns, and like they don't really go out, and like they'll hit their kids with rulers and stuff. Not really. That wasn't shown in the movie, but I can only imagine. And, you know, it's in modern times now, and people are, it's kind of like the au pair, where like people are religious, but they're understanding because they make mistakes. Every human is not perfect. And I think that's the greatest example about this movie is like, it's not example, but like, you know, just the best way to describe its themes is like, we're all humans, we're all mistakes, we make mistakes, but it doesn't make us bad people. It really doesn't. And so it just, I know I'm going on the directing, but I think out of all that jibble jarble that I just said, I think that was what the director was going for, something with anti-religion, because I felt like, you know, staying on those shots, and we were seeing these performances on screen, no cuts. I felt like I was being absorbed into this, kind of like Maria was being absorbed with the brainwashing of religion, and then eventually the end happened. So the directing, fantastic job. I thought it was great. The acting, top notch. Like I said, the little girl Maria, she killed it. I don't know who this girl is. Hold on, we're gonna look her up right now. Live. The little girl is Leah von Aken. Leah von Aken. Please don't hold that like terrible German accent. Yeah, I think it's like Leah von Aken or Aken, but she is fantastic in this role. She really is. I felt like she was a troubled teenager. Like, she just wanted to do right so bad, but like everyone was telling her that she was doing wrong, and then she eventually just believed it, and she felt sorry for herself. And it was really depressing to watch. And I loved all the supporting cast. Even though I hated the mom character, the actress did a very good job portraying that. So everyone pulls their weight in this. It's a tour de force in acting for sure. Cinematography, this is really hard because it's only like 14 shots throughout the entire thing. It's just one shot, and they just let it play out for each segment. Now, is the cinematography terrible? No, it's well lit. Each shot is well framed. It's all there, and it's done right. It's just there's only 14 shots, so you can't really judge on the cinematography on this one. Editing wise, this movie is like an hour and 45 minutes, and I will tell you this right now as a warning. This is a slow burn. And what I mean by that is like, it's 14 segments. Each of them are like 10 minutes long. Like, but you can kind of feel it dragging in the middle just a little bit. But I think after like, I would say the middle point onwards, like the second half, I started to become more engaged because I was just so infuriated with the characters that were not helping this little girl and stuff. And there was a couple of people that tried to help her, but she just wouldn't believe him and stuff. And so the second half was a lot better for me, but it is an extreme slow burn. It takes its time. Like I said, it's almost like we're like the main character who's being absorbed with this poisonous knowledge of religion, which will eventually, you know, be her demise. And I felt like as an audience member, we were absorbing the information, and it was slowly killing us because I really wanted to help that little girl. Like, I think that's a great testament to great movies when you can get involved and you can relate to these characters and stuff. So I really enjoyed Stations of the Cross. Listen, this is a German film. Most of you will probably not even watch this in the US. I understand that. But if you can try to find it, it's one of the better religious movies out there that's told very well, and I think it takes an anti-religious side, and I think it was portrayed very, very wonderful. And so, and if you're a foreign listener or watcher right now, I would advise you to watch this. I would. This is why I love foreign films, because you guys are so damn good at making movies. Like, we got some of our gems over here, but guys, in my collection, I got some fantastic French films. I love French films to death. And, you know, Stations of the Cross has convinced me to watch more German films. So I really love Stations of the Cross. I've been kind of battling on this. I think I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. And I think the only reason I'm going to dock it a point is because it does kind of feel like it drags just a hair. Not going to knock it on that because, like I said, it was very effective. So 9 out of 10 for Stations of the Cross. It's one of my favorite ones just because it's so disturbing and so eerie in its own way, but that's just my opinion. So have you seen Stations of the Cross, or have you even heard of it? Comment the place to rub on my face and let me know. And as always, thanks for watching Real Reviews Live. I'm Chase Lee, and tune in next time for whatever I review next. See you guys later. I'm going to go ahead and stop this broadcast, and goodbye. Is it still going? Oh, God.
Important security mess.
Freaking live stuff, man. My computer's filled with viruses. Okay, I'm going on.